Welcome to my storytime by mybooksummary.com. Get ready for quick wisdom of countless stories and explore. Beauty and the Beast by Gabrielle-Suzanne de Villeneuve. Once upon a time, in a small town nestled between rolling hills and cobbled streets, there lived a poor but kind-hearted carpenter named Geppetto. His workshop was filled with bits of wood, sawdust, and the lingering scent of fresh shavings. But what he longed for most wasn't a fine piece of furniture. It was a son. One day, an old friend, Master Cherry, gave Geppetto a peculiar log of wood. "Take this," he said. "It's no ordinary wood," and indeed it wasn't. The moment Geppetto began to carve, something magical happened. The wood giggled. The carpenter, startled but delighted, continued shaping it, and before long, he had crafted a wooden puppet, a little boy with a mischievous smile and eyes full of life. "I shall name you Pinocchio," Geppetto declared. To his astonishment, the puppet blinked, wiggled its wooden fingers, and sprang to life. What a wonder! A puppet that could walk, talk, and laugh. But as Geppetto would soon discover, raising a wooden boy would be no easy task. Pinocchio's first mischief. From the very start, Pinocchio was full of curiosity and mischief. The moment he learned to walk, he bolted out of the house, running wildly through the streets. Poor Geppetto, chasing after him, was soon accused of being a madman disturbing the peace. After much explaining, the townspeople finally let Geppetto go, and he took Pinocchio home. "You must go to school, my boy," he said. "Education will make you a fine young man." Pinocchio, however, had the attention span of a squirrel in a candy shop. When Geppetto sold his only coat to buy him a schoolbook, the wooden boy felt a flicker of guilt but was quickly distracted when he saw a puppet show in the town square. "Forget school," he thought. "That looks fun." He sold his book to buy a ticket and ran inside. The great puppet master, Mangiafoco, was not amused when he saw Pinocchio disrupting his performance. But when the wooden boy pleaded for mercy, the grumpy man softened. Instead of punishing him, he gave him 5 gold coins and sent him on his way. "Take these to your father," he said. Now, if Pinocchio had gone straight home, this story might have been very different. But, alas, trouble was always around the corner. The fox, the cat, and the tree of fools. As Pinocchio skipped along, clutching his shiny gold coins, he met 2 peculiar characters, a lame fox and a blind cat. "My dear boy," the fox purred, "do you know of the Field of Miracles? If you bury your coins there, they will grow into a tree full of gold." Pinocchio's wooden jaw dropped. "A tree full of gold?" "Yes, yes," the cat meowed. "All rich men know this secret." Pinocchio, being as gullible as a kitten in a lion's den, followed them to the so-called Field of Miracles. He dug a hole, buried his coins, and waited. "Now we must leave for the magic to work," said the fox. "Come back later." The moment Pinocchio turned his back, the thieving duo dug up his coins and vanished. Hours later, when Pinocchio eagerly returned, his jaw dropped again. But this time in horror. There was no golden tree, only an empty hole. He had been tricked. The blue fairy and Pinocchio's growing nose. As he wandered, hungry, tired, and full of regret, Pinocchio stumbled upon a charming little house in the woods. Inside lived a beautiful woman with sky-blue hair, the blue fairy. "Oh dear," she said, taking him in. "You poor boy. Tell me, where are your gold coins?" Not wanting to seem foolish, Pinocchio lied. "I didn't lose them. I was attacked by 2 fearsome bandits." At that moment, something strange happened. His nose grew longer. The fairy raised an eyebrow. "Are you sure?" "Yes." They jumped out of the shadows. His nose grew even longer, curling at the tip like a vine. "Pinocchio, every time you lie, your nose will grow," she said gently. "Honesty is the only way to become a real boy." With a sneeze and a sniffle, Pinocchio finally confessed. The fairy waved her hand, and his nose shrunk back to normal. "Now," she said, "go home to Geppetto. He's searching for you." Pinocchio, promising to be good, set off. But promises, for him, were like sand in the wind, easily blown away. The Land of Toys, a donkey's lesson. Before he could reach home, Pinocchio ran into his old school friend, Lampwick. Forget school, Pinocchio, Lampwick grinned. Come with me to the land of toys. No rules, no teachers, just fun. Pinocchio hesitated. He remembered Geppetto's words. But temptation was a sneaky thing, and soon, he found himself aboard a carriage full of laughing boys, heading toward a land where every day was a holiday. First, it was glorious. No chores, no school, just candy, games, and laughter. But after 5 months of non-stop play, something terrifying happened. One morning, Pinocchio woke up to donkey ears sprouting from his head. His hands turned into hooves. A tail popped out of his back. He screamed, "You fool!" A voice sneered. It was the coachman. "All naughty boys who come here turn into donkeys. Now, off to the circus with you." Pinocchio tried to run, but his wooden legs were now for hooves. He had been turned into a donkey, sold to a cruel circus master. Pinocchio's days were filled with endless labor and beatings. But fate, though harsh, had not abandoned him yet. One day, as he performed in a show, he stumbled and broke his leg. The cruel master, deciding he was now useless, threw him into the sea to drown. But magic works in mysterious ways. The moment he hit the water, his donkey form vanished, and he became a wooden boy again, swallowed by a whale. Pinocchio swam to shore, finally realizing how foolish he had been. "I must find my father," he vowed. After much searching, he heard shocking news. Geppetto had gone to sea in search of him but was swallowed by a great whale. With a determined heart, Pinocchio threw himself into the ocean, diving deep into the dark abyss. The water roared around him, and before he could react, gulp! He was swallowed whole. Inside the whale's belly, Pinocchio saw a familiar figure. "Father!" he cried. Geppetto, weak but alive, hugged his wooden son. "Oh, Pinocchio, I thought I lost you." But there was no time to waste. They had to escape. Pinocchio had an idea. "We'll build a fire." Using wood from the wreckage inside the whale's belly, they lit a small flame. Smoke filled the air, and soon the great beast gave a thunderous sneeze, blasting them out of its mouth and into the sea. They swam to shore, exhausted but alive. The final transformation. That night, back in their humble home, something miraculous happened. Pinocchio, at last, had learned bravery, kindness, and honesty. His heart had changed, and with a final act of magic, the blue fairy rewarded him. The wooden puppet stirred, stretched, and blinked. But this time, something was different. His limbs were no longer stiff. His body was warm. His heartbeat was real. He had become a real boy. Tears welled in Geppetto's eyes. "My son," he whispered. "My real son." Final thoughts. The lesson of Pinocchio. Pinocchio's journey is a tale of temptation, mistakes, and redemption. He was reckless, foolish, and stubborn. But he was also brave, loving, and determined. Stay tuned for more enlightening content. Head over to www.mybooksummary.com. Don't forget to subscribe and share the magic with friends. And let's grow together through the power of books and interesting stories.